This is our formal meeting. At this time, I ask that my colleagues and everyone in attendance please silence their electronic devices and phones. I ask my colleagues to acknowledge their presence on the voting board. Please note in the minutes that Mrs. McLeod and Mr. McDonald are absent this evening due to work obligations. At this time, I'm asking everyone to join me in a moment of silence. Please rise as you are able for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We do not have any awards or recognitions this evening. Dr. Spence, we look forward to hearing the superintendent's report.
Thank you, and good evening, Chairwoman Anderson and members of the board. As you know, it was announced earlier this month that the Virginia Department of Education had released their graduation data showing Virginia Beach City Public Schools with the highest on-time graduation rate on record as well as the lowest dropout rate. In fact, just as a reminder, we not only bested our own performance in these areas, we once again had the highest graduation rate in Southside Hampton Roads and beat the state averages with both a higher grad rate and a lower dropout rate. This success is, of course, a reflection of the efforts of all of our teachers, staff members, and administrators K through 12 who have invested in and cared for our children throughout their journey. In addition, the division has made specific and deliberate decisions to help provide additional staffing and resources at the high school level to further support students and get them to that graduation stage in June. At 4 of our high schools full-time and 2 high schools part-time, we have graduation coaches who work in concert with the counseling office to offer an array of services for students who are in jeopardy of not graduating. These are things like tutoring and remediation opportunities, scheduling assistance, and sometimes just that little extra push of encouragement. So tonight, you're going to hear the story of graduation coach Denise Lawson and the work that she's been doing to help students at Kempsville High School.
A graduation coach is just that, a coach. I mean, a mentor, a tutor, working with students one-on-one, identifying strategies to assist the student to be successful. We really focus on grades, attendance, if they need an SOL, if they need a certification for graduation. Sometimes students just may need some tutoring in a particular subject. One assignment at a time, let's get you back on track.
She always got things to help me, and they had gotten the tutor there for me to go there during one of my blocks for the whole entire block, and I was the only person in there, so it really helped because she was just focused on me. In a way, like, she kind of felt like a mom to me. She's definitely like a loving and caring person, and she always reaches out to people, even if like they don't reach out to her. Like, she'll just keep trying. Like, I've seen it, and I'm glad when she reached out to me.
It's very exciting, and it does affirm what we're doing here, and not just me, but the whole team here at Kempsville High School and across the division. Teachers and counselors and the testing coordinator, I mean, all of us coming together and really focusing on the seniors who need that extra assistance. The graduation coaches, we get together 3 or 4 times a year, and we share best practices. We share what we're doing in our individual schools, because every graduation coach may do things a little differently at their school, you know, depending on what their needs are. And we want to continue to increase the graduation rate. I mean, let's face it, we would love to have 100%, you know, and we can get there with these extra resources that we have.
Amanda Lee Cagle.
I just get very emotional, you know, seeing the students that I've worked with walk across that stage. And then at the end, you know, Kempsville has this tradition of lining up and hugging the students. And, you know, so many of the students will come by, give us a big hug, and really thank us. I mean, they truly are, very thankful for what we've done for them. And we've received cards and follow-ups and texts and phone calls and and so it really is a very exciting day.
I think people like Miss Lawson direct students more and better, like towards their goals and actually graduating, because that was one of the best days of my life, was graduating. I don't know if every school has a Miss Lawson, but I think every school should.
Well, board members, you saw in the video that Kempsville has hit its all-time graduation rate with 91.9%. What's really impressive about that is that it is a gain of more than 4 percentage points over the last school year. This is the first time that Kempsville has broken the 90% mark since the VDOE began collecting cohort-based data in 2008, and a lot of that is because of Denise and her efforts. And Denise is here with us this evening along with her husband, Jeff, and her principal, Melissa George. So if I could just ask you all to stand so we could say thank you for your work. Denise, listening to Amanda, it's really evident, I think, to all of us that there's a direct impact not on just her academic career, but on her life. I mean, when she says you're like another mom, I saw that got you a little bit, didn't it? And I think the rest of us, too. And I will say this, I know there are countless others who would have given the same level of praise for you and have done so and in your work. And I want to thank you for all of the time and the care that you've brought to the Kempsville campus. And Melissa, as Denise was quick to point out, this is a team effort, so I also want to thank you and your entire team, including your counselors, your teachers, and staff, for everything that you're doing to support students at Kempsville and make sure that they walk across that stage. So congratulations to all of you. And as always, you can view this story as well as all of our other Compass Keepers on vbschool.com and the Core. Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. That does complete my report.
Thank you, Dr. Spence. Madam Clerk, do we have any speakers on agenda items this evening?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of our October 9th meeting. The motion is made by Mrs. Manning, seconded by Mr. Edwards. The voting board is open. The October 9th meeting minutes have been approved. Chair will entertain a motion to adopt the agenda for this evening. Motion made by Mrs. Holtz, seconded by Mrs. Riggs. Voting board is open. The agenda has been adopted. The consent agenda this evening has several policies that have been recommended from the Policy Review Committee. They were presented to us in our information at our last meeting. They are new policy 4-6, healthy work environment, policy 4-14, alternative work schedules, policy 4-22, drug and alcohol testing of motor vehicle operators, policy 4-91, student teachers, policy 5-1, extent of school authority, regulation 5-36.2, false alarms, bomb threats, and 911 calls, new policy 5-43, threats, and regulation 5-43.1, threat assessment procedures. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda. Mrs. Weems has made the motion, seconded by Mrs. Melnick. The voting board is open. Motion is passed. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the personnel report and administrative appointments. Mrs. Melnick has made the motion, seconded by Mrs. Rye. Is there discussion? Seeing none, the voting board is open. The personnel report and administrative appointments have been approved. Dr. Spence, would you like to introduce our new administrators?
I would love to. Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. If I could start with Catherine Katie Cirilli, if you could please stand up. Katie has served as a production coordinator and account executive with Sinclair Communications. Most recently, been serving as a teacher in Chesapeake Public Schools, and I'm pleased that this evening you've accepted our recommendation for her to serve as the coordinator of K-12 programs and grants in the Department of Teaching and Learning. Congratulations. I believe you have a guest with you. Yes, Brandon Cirilli. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
If I could ask Amanda Malvin to please stand up. I think that you all will recognize Amanda. She has served with distinction in Virginia Beach as a teacher at Virginia Beach Middle School and most recently as a secondary science instructional specialist. And I'm pleased this evening you've accepted our recommendation for her to serve as the new coordinator of science in the Department of Teaching and Learning. Congratulations, Amanda. And I know you have some guests here as well. It looks like it's family night tonight, so we will continue that. If I could ask Tommy DeMartini to stand up. Some of you all will recognize Sergeant DeMartini. He has served in the Virginia Beach Police Department for since, 1993, 1994? 1995, and also as a sergeant in the United States Marine Corps Reserve. His time in the Virginia Beach Police Department has included stints as a community liaison officer with SWAT as well, and also as an SRO, currently serving as a school resource officer supervisor in the 4th Precinct. And I'm very pleased this evening that you have accepted our recommendation for him to serve as the next Director of Safe Schools in the Office of Safe Schools and School Division Services. Yeah. Congratulations. I believe you may have a guest or two.
You get the whole family. Beautiful wife, Wendy. My brother-in-law, Bobby. My mother, my sister, Diane. My son, Carson, Ocean Lakes High School and Mass Science Academy. My daughter, Abigail, is a senior at First Colonial High School.
Yay.
Thank you all for being here. And finally, although you have previously appointed this gentleman, I want to officially welcome him and introduce him to you. If I could ask Jack Freeman to please stand up. Jack Freeman has served with distinction in the United States Navy from 1993 until this year, including stints as a Top Gun instructor and also at the U.S. Naval War College and as an air boss on the USS Theodore Roosevelt. Most recently served as the commanding officer for Naval Support Activity Hampton Roads. And we are very pleased to welcome him aboard as the Chief Operations Officer in the Department of School Division Services. Congratulations, Jack. And I know you have a guest as well. Well, briefly, for all of you who spent time to come here tonight, that comment that when you get me, you get the whole family could not be more true when we're talking about school administration. And we appreciate your support and the commitment that is required to do this work, and it requires a good family around us. So thank you so much for being here and doing that. And that is all, Madam Chairwoman.
Thank you, Dr. Spence. First item on information this evening is the field trip annual report for fiscal year 18.
Good evening, everyone. Chairwoman
evening.
Anderson, members of the board, Dr. Spence.
Welcome.
I am here this evening to briefly review the annual field trip report for the 2017-2018 school year that is included in your packet of information. Field trips are funded by allocating $1.75 per student enrolled in each of the schools and programs. They are divided into 5 categories: instructional, athletics and clubs, festivals, after-school tutoring, and community-based instruction. The number of bus trips for each category is included in the chart in your information. There were 12,232 field trips, traveling 194,804 total miles, with a 292,206 cost in operational expenses and $454,884 in salaries. The highest percentage of trips at the elementary schools was for after-school tutoring and school activities. The highest percentage of trips at the middle school and high school level were for athletic activities. With that, I will open for any questions.
Do we have any questions? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
Great report. Next, for information, we have the interim financial statements for September 2018.
Good evening, Chairwoman Anderson, school board members, Dr. Spence. As of September 30th, the overall revenue trend is acceptable as illustrated in the first graph. Our September 30th enrollment came in slightly lower than our projected ADM used to build the budget for state revenue. but higher than the ADM currently projected by the state in remitting payments for the year. Historically, we do take a conservative approach in projecting our March 31st ADM. Based on our September 30th enrollment, we usually reduce that by about 0.25% to do the projection. So this will bring that down below what we are currently budgeted for our ADM. This results in a projected deficit, a shortfall of approximately $1.4 million. However, currently we're able to offset that shortfall. One of the state's revenue streams is called the Supplemental Lottery Per Pupil Allocation. We originally budgeted that revenue stream based on a per pupil funding amount that was in the governor's proposed 2018-20 biennial budget back in December. But once the General Assembly was able to adopt the amendments to the biennial budget, the per pupil funding allocation amount for that revenue stream increased. And so this resulted in a surplus for us right now about $2.5 million. So we were able to net the $1.4 million loss with that $2.5 million surplus and currently project a $1.1 million surplus in state revenue. This next graph shows our sales tax receipts for this point in the fiscal year. We are lagging behind in previous years. The decrease is due to some amended language in the Appropriation Act affecting the June accelerated sales taxes previously distributed to school divisions in August. This amended language basically provided more time for the Department of Taxation to certify those accelerated sales tax receipts to ensure their accuracy. And so as a result of that extension, those payments did not hit our books as done in previous years. We see this as nothing more than a timing difference. We do have verification that we expect those payments to be distributed to the school division by the end of the second quarter of the school year. And then this final slide just shows our encumbrances and expenditures at this point in the fiscal year, and that we are still acceptable at that. If you all have any questions, that concludes my presentation.
Are there any questions or comments? Seeing none, we thank you for your report. Next, we have standing committee reports. Does anyone have a standing committee report at this time? Ms. Melnick.
So I attended the Governor's School for the Arts Regional Board meeting. I was also appointed to the foundation board. So I love the Governor's School, and just want to tell you that they have two programs coming up. The vocal music department is doing Liederabend. It's not what it looks like on the paper, but they're doing that at the Dallas Black Box Theater on Granby Street in Norfolk, November 10th and 11th. Information and tickets are available at the Governor's School for the Arts.net. And the theater and film department is doing Playing with Fire After Frankenstein this weekend at the Dallas Black Box Theater, also on Granby Street. So after the Governor's School meeting, I stayed for Mrs. Weems and attended the CSEP meeting. And this weekend, in Chesapeake, CSEP will have their Pigs and Pansy sale. It's this weekend in Chesapeake at their CSEP Center. In Virginia Beach, it's on November 2nd at the Renaissance Academy. You can buy pansies from 9 to 3, and the barbecue will be served from 10:30 to 3.
Thank you, Ms. Melnick. Are there any other standing committee reports, Ms. Manning?
I've been attending the Virginia Beach Mayor's Committee for Persons with Disabilities, and this last meeting, we are putting together a survey, and I'm helping them with that on SurveyMonkey to determine if there are areas of our city that need to be improved regarding accessibility. So that survey is going to be coming out probably within the next week, and we hope to get some helpful information from that so that we can help all of our citizens who have special needs.
Thank you. Ms. Rye?
Good evening. So I attended my first meeting of the School Health Advisory Board Committee as the school board liaison this year. So among the topics, and any of you can see me afterwards if you want more information, seasonal flu prevention, our division's role with that, and with seasonal allergies, the Lions Club Vision Screening Program partnership, which was an interesting discussion, and suicide risk assessment and post-crisis training for staff that was held in August. And the other key point to mention is that the committee started last year, and the work is continuing on a student and staff wellness policy that schools will be completing, but this is still in the infancy stage, and it will be vetted by staff would be the next step. I wanted to share that as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other committee reports? All right. That concludes our formal meeting.